Hey guys, for a couple of months I was thinking about making a Smash in Minecraft, and I think that's coming along pretty well because right now I have 6 of these characters developed so far, and I have one more that I'm wanting to make, but that's going to take some time. So I have Zombie, Skeleton, Spider, Blaze, Enderman, Chicken, and this is just for me to reset by the end of the video. So right now I have a huge black wall behind covering the map that we're making. That's going to be a surprise for the end. Uh, First, let's start with explaining how this game works. So basically, you're all on a PvP map and fighting each other. That's actually, yeah, it's just any PvP game that you would be playing right now. So there's not much to that. But I think what really makes this is the moves that you get with these characters. So first, one thing to mention before I start. Here's a little mechanic that I made for the game. It's completely irrelevant right now, but it might be used. So as you can see, I'm jumping on top of one block, and then here I can't jump because it's 2 blocks. In Minecraft, you can't jump over 2 blocks. But here's a little mechanic I like to call the super jump. So if you crouch and then jump right after, that's a super jump. Crouch and jump. It's just a small way to gain an advantage against other players, but the only times you would use it is for like sprinting or if you're trying to get somewhere faster. But that's basically what the super jump is. It'll be useful. So let's talk about the characters now. I'm going to switch into adventure mode for this. First, I have the zombie. So as you can see on my hotbar, I got main weapon, and then I have 2 sub weapons right here. So there's not a lot to work off with for the zombie. There's only like a few items that I can relate to it. So here's basically what it does. So the main weapon is, if you can notice here, I have weakness 4. So if I'm going to summon a test dummy, I'm trying to punch it as hard as I can. It's not going to work because I have weakness 4, and I'm basically dealing negative damage right now, or just like no damage at all. So this zombie is not going to be affected by anything. But I have a rotten flesh here that has sharpness 4, so that's going to negate weakness, and it's going to deal about normal damage. So if I smack this zombie over and over, it's going to work. If I try and hit it with the sub-weapons, it's not going to work because these things don't have any enchantments on them. So yeah, just the main weapon. You can only damage people with the main weapon unless it's like one of those sub-weapons that attack people in some way, shape, or form. So let's talk about sub-weapons now. So dirt block. I was thinking about how to implement this since everyone's playing in adventure mode, you can't place down blocks. So I came up with an alternate solution. It's not as good, but it definitely works. So if you press Q and dispense it, then it'll create a block for you. So yeah, you can place all 3 of them, and they'll eventually disappear over time. As you can see, I have a barrier in my inventory right now. This is signifying the cooldown for each sub-weapon. And those are individual to each other, so you can chain them at the same time, but then you have to wait for both of them. But yeah, that's basically what the dirt block is. And next I have the blind flower. This is basically like does not relate to the zombie at all, but I had to find a second sub weapon for it, and this is the best solution I came up with. So if you throw it down, there's an area effect cloud, and if you step into it, you get blindness. And then blindness, you can't run, and you can't see for a little while, but it's not the end for you, so that's basically how it works. And if you'll notice, there are different cooldown starts for each weapon. So for the first one, there's a 6-second cooldown, and for the second one, there's a 9-second cooldown. And this applies for all the mobs. So let's move to the next one, which is skeleton. Okay, so here we have the bone as the main weapon. By the way, most of these main weapons, they all have sharpness 4, so they're all going to do the same amount of damage. And then the bow, you already know what this does. Shoots arrows. It does not work any different in this game. Except for one thing, but which I'll explain later. But that's not important. And then we have the smoke bomb. So with the skeleton, you have a melee range attack and a long range attack, so you want to try and find a middle ground where you can mix those 2 up. So with the smoke bomb, you throw it down, and there's a smoke cloud particle that shows up. This doesn't matter if you have particles off or not, you're going to see it anyways. And this is a perfect time to try and escape from a crowd, and you can run wherever you want. Or you can go in and try to attack people from behind, which is all up to you though. So yeah, that's how it works. It doesn't do any damage, but that's basically what the skeleton has. For this spider, I wasn't able to develop a second sub-weapon for it, as for now, but I might add a second one. But this is what I have so far, and I think it's pretty balanced. The first main weapon, fishing rod, it does the same amount of damage, but you can also hook onto zombies. If the zombie wasn't completely frozen, it would move with me, which definitely gives you an advantage over your opponent's main weapons. So I'm just going to throw this right here. And then for the first sub-weapon, we have a web trap. So if you throw this down, it creates a cobweb. It's just like the dirt block. It'll disappear over time, but this one will completely trap your opponent. It's a great solution to stopping people who are running away from you. If you can catch them, though. So that's what the spider has right now. I'll think of something else to add for it, but that's what I have right now. Next, we have the blaze, and my game is lagging. Cool! Okay, for the blaze, you have the blaze rod for the main weapon. I don't think anyone would have chosen anything different, except for the blaze rod for the main weapon. So, this is exactly the same. Fire charge. This one is kind of a work in progress. I'm going to throw it down. As you can see, it creates a fire charge. Normally, you just punch it and then it goes off, but for some reason it's just not going in the server. Maybe it's just a bug exclusive to this place, but I'll figure it out sometime. So let me just kill it actually. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Rod armor. So let me just go into third person here. So as you can see, I have a head on top, and I got leather armor. This changes depending on which mob you're on, so I can show them at the end of the video too. But right now, this is what the blaze looks like. So if I drop this gold ingot for rod armor, all my armor turns into gold, and I am completely immobilized from moving. I can't jump because I'm pressing space right now. I'm only slowly inching forward right now. And I can't sprint either. And the only way to get out of this is in your main weapon inventory. You just drop this to cancel it out, and then you have a 10-second cooldown for that. So that's how the blaze works. And then we have two more to go through. Enderman. This is interesting. This one is Eye of Ender. Doesn't do anything. Now for the Ender Pearl, this actually ties into what I was talking about earlier, so I'm going to throw it straight forward. So as you can see, you didn't actually see it land, but it went a certain amount of distance. So now let's try to go as far as possible, about 45 degrees. I didn't go as far as last time. So the thing with the Ender Pearl is, there's a certain amount of time or distance it can go before it starts shooting straight down. So the most optimal way to go is to shoot it straight forward, or right before it's about to hit the ground. And for this is called Stare. There's no way for me to showcase it right now, but basically if you're looking at a player and they're looking at you back, then you get a speed boost, and you can catch up to them easily. So yeah, it doesn't work with zombies, but it'll work in the game. Let's go to the next one. Chicken. This is the last one actually. Feather. Let's just kill off the zombie with the feather. That'd be really funny. Okay, now let's showcase the rest of these. So feather is the main weapon, and the next one is the egg. So this one's kind of interesting because it's not going to do a lot of damage. Like if you watch this, I don't think the zombie's going to take a lot of damage from those eggs alone. But if the zombie was able to actually move, it would be able to get knocked back, which is really useful, which makes a chicken a more defensive type of character to use. So yeah, it's 3 eggs and then a 3-second cooldown. And the eggs only travel a certain distance too. For the second sub-weapon, we got Egg Bomb. So this is actually, I borrowed this from one of my older games. It was a Splatoon game, where you drop a bomb and then it explodes on you. And if you touch it, then you're dead. But in this game, you just put it down, insta-kill. Not always will it be an insta-kill. If you're like right on the center of the bomb, then you'll probably die in an instant. But that's basically what it is. So one more time. Now this actually has a workaround because if you place a TNT in normal Minecraft gameplay, it's going to explode all the blocks around it. There's no game rule to turn that off or any kind of external setting to stop that from happening. Like maybe you could use a plugin, but that's not what we're trying to go for. Right? We're trying to make a game without plugins. So basically what I did is, if you pay attention, watch before the second the TNT explodes. Right there, the flashing. So basically what it does is at the last second, the TNT switches out with the creeper, and the creeper explodes instead. So there's no blocks that get damaged in the process because mob grouping is off. And I'm going to switch back to Steve. And that's it. That's all that I have to showcase except for the command blocks. I'm going to show the costumes first. And that's all the costumes. So next what I'm going to do is look into the insides. I'm going to switch to creative mode. And here's where I put all of the command blocks. So as you can see, it's a pretty big space and there's a bunch of colors. I fragmented all of the sections into modules, which I represented by those different concrete blocks. And I put a bunch of labels on them. As you can see, there's a sign right here. And yeah, I really wanted to do this because last time I didn't do this. I put them all in one row, and it was just really confusing because I couldn't find the exact script that I needed to fix if I had a bug in my game. And this way it just makes everything easier, and I can constantly update the game with new characters, which is probably not going to come anytime soon until I finish it. So if you want to help me out or give me new ideas, which I definitely need, you can talk to me or DM me on Discord. And if you're a builder, oh my god, I need builders. You have no idea. Thank you for watching.